door are we going out today, T-Rex? The one with the big snow drifts and the birds. He knows the way. All right, we'll see you out there. Not that door, Rex. Yep, that one way down there. Keep going. Is this the one, Rex? Yeah, this is the one. Go ahead. There we go. All right. What do we have? Icicles and deep snow. For all those warm, rainy days we had around the home front in the Boston area, it's been snowing every one of those days up here. And it doesn't get much deeper than what we have now. It's crunching. So the snow depth at the snow stake up there is 103 inches. Only 2 winters have had more snow at this time on March 3rd. That would be 2019 and 1969. And look at the profile cloud along the profile of Mount Mansfield. There's the nose, and then there's the chin. And look at those swirly clouds. Should I take off my gloves and zoom in? It's 10 below zero this morning up here. One of the coldest mornings, gorgeous, of the entire winter. And it's the 3rd day of meteorological spring. Oh yeah, when I zoom in, I don't have my lav on, so you couldn't quite hear that well. Thankfully, it's not too windy. Tremendous. Too bad it's so cold. It's gonna warm up though. We're still technically in cold air advection. Here's the regional temperature map at sunrise. Red numbers are wind gusts. Boston down to 12 degrees with the wind still gusting close to 20 miles an hour from the northwest. Saranac Lake, New York, though, 24 below zero. I checked the records. T-Rex, I will go down there in a second. I checked the records, and Saranac Lake, the record for today, is 27 below. And in Boston, it's 4 degrees above the record for today from 1950. But it's definitely a top 10 cold March 3rd in the Northeast. And here's the weather prediction map for this afternoon. We've got the 4 H's, high pressure, radiational cooling up and down the East Coast. It's cold all the way down to Georgia this morning. And then to the west, you have 3 lows. And on the backside of this high with those 3 lows, there are 3 warm fronts. A warm front, a warmer front, and a warmest front coming our way over the next 2 days. So for as cold as it is this morning, we'll balance it out on Wednesday and Thursday, and you add them up and divide by 2, and it's just regular weather. And look at Utah. Utah covered in snow. Carl went to Utah this week. Good job, Carl. Guess I'm not going to see you on the lift here this morning. So major storms in the west. T-Rex, those storms are going to come east, and we're going to end up raining all the way up to northern Vermont. But we've got a couple of beautiful ski days before then. I'll show you one from yesterday. T-Rex, this way. Yesterday, Sterling and his dog T-Rex, not in the video. Sterling made this video. The wind was quite something coming off the ridgeline there at Jay Peak. But where else can you get off a lift, take like 3 steps, and ski face shoots above tree line or between tree line, skiing at Jay Peak? He says it was unbelievable yesterday, and it snowed about a foot in the last 48 hours and about 3 feet in the last 2 weeks. And the snow depth at Jay Peak is equal what we have here, if not greater. And Josh was in the trees yesterday. He said phenomenal. Josh Worth often skis those chutes, but yesterday he was in the trees. So the glades are just off the charts too. And if you can find a place that's fresh, and if you go hiking way up in there, you can, and we will. We'll come back with the full forecast of this high pressure system giving way to low pressure and much warmer air. Warmest we've seen, the warmest storm since late December. And then it's going to snow again. And what else? I was going to say something else. Oh yes, it's not snowing anywhere in New England this morning. So did our days in a row of snow streak end at 62? We'll see. It may try and snow up here sometime before midnight tonight. All right, going up there, back momentarily. It's 7:20 a.m. And momentarily is 10:30, and I did some skiing, and it was very cold. And no, our days in a row with snow in New England did not end. I can't believe I overlooked. This has happened a bunch of times. It's snowed on Cape Cod this morning. I was going to say it is snowing, but it's probably done by now. This is the Wellfleet Beachcomber, Cam. Just before 10 a.m., the wind came on shore, this very cold air over relatively warm water, produced our ocean effect snowflakes. So it is day 63 in a row with snow somewhere in New England. Thank you, John and Tim Ellis and Brewster, for pointing that out. And being a Cape Codder, I should have known there would be some Cape Cod frost on such a cold morning. I kind of thought the high was moving more towards the south. So usually when high goes to your south, you don't really get that onshore flow, but there was just enough high over northern New England to produce that onshore flow briefly. Here's the satellite imagery from about the same time, and lots going on here on the left. That's the warm front cloud that's going to come in late in the day, but then you can see the snow on the ground with that white shade across north of the Massachusetts Turnpike and right up to the New Hampshire, Massachusetts border, which we'll talk about in the end more from my ride up yesterday. And then you see bare ground from Boston Point south to Cape Cod, and then that ocean effect cloud just coming in and reaching off the ocean onto the national seashore. And even in Dennis, John in Dennis said there were some snowflakes in Dennis this morning. And I didn't stay out there very long this morning, even though it was 10 below. It was pretty warm 10 below because the sun is shining, but it's still 10 below. And I'm going to go out this afternoon when it's more like 10 above or 15 above. Now, the temperature here is still probably pretty close to zero. And the March sun, even with temperatures near zero, is going to loosen up that snow. And we are going to have some serious icicles building again today. I've got on my lav, my wireless lav, so no matter how much I zoom in, we can still hear the same audio, and I don't really have to talk too loud. As a matter of fact, sometimes I do talk too loud. So great day for a hike. I just don't know my way around there well enough to go up to the Hourglass and then over to Hellbrook and then down and Taft and the Bench and into the Notch. It's a perfect day for it, though. I may try and do that. And so high pressure's moving out, low pressure's coming in, and things are going to change quickly. And why don't we just go to the high resolution NAM and look at the forecast. There it is this morning. That little bit of snow on Cape Cod was picked up by the high res NAM, and that goes away. And then it's warm air advection with a little warm front, a little snow possible right up here tonight before midnight. And it's not going to be anywhere near as cold tomorrow morning. Boston probably is going to have the temperature going up overnight. And then tomorrow afternoon, here comes another batch of rain, green, and snow at the higher elevations. And tomorrow between 2 and 4 o'clock, we may actually pick up another inch or two of snow up here. So that'd be day 64 in a row of snow. And then that rain snow line is going to lift all the way into Maine, but it will still be snowing in northern Maine on Wednesday morning. That's day 65 in a row. And now here's the day on Wednesday, and the snow rain line goes right up into Canada, and we get the heavier rain coming into southern and western New England Wednesday afternoon and evening, and it's going to be a fast mover. And even though the temperature is going to go up, I think the flood threat is coming down because of how fast this is all going to happen. And the rainfall doesn't look as bad as it did from a few days ago. That's the last image right there is 7 o'clock on Wednesday. And you can see on the left side, there's the rain snow line coming back in from the west. And it's going to end up snowing here on Thursday and Friday and maybe Saturday. We'll go to the GFS. Defer to the GFS now, as it's been pretty consistent and doing a fairly good job, although once I start it, after this regularly scheduled Thursday storm, watch what happens on Saturday. I just want to say before I get there, because it's going to happen all so fast, is last Monday, a week ago today, it looked like it was supposed to snow in Boston on Saturday, and instead it ended up snowing way up here, but in Boston it was about 55 degrees with some light rain. But that forecast for this coming Saturday looks very similar to how it did a week ago, and it didn't turn out right at all. So my point is that the forecast changes and the weather changes and the weather forecast changes. All right, so now let's start the GFS. And wait, one more thing. Sorry, I wanted to show you the national advisories, watches, and warnings for this vast storm that's going to be crossing the nation. And that is a blizzard warning there from northern Colorado into Nebraska. There's a blizzard warning. On the south side, there's going to be a lot of severe weather and heavy wind. And on the north side, it's just plain cold and almost dry, with the flood threat now going away in Montana because it's getting colder again. So this is a major late winter or early spring storm. And we had a cold weather advisory here in the Northeast earlier, but that has expired. But we may end up with another one of those in 7 days. All right, so now let's go on to the GFS. Sorry. And here it is going into motion. Our cold high-pressure system moves off the east coast, and the return flow from the southwest is going to bring in the warm air advection, and the temperatures actually go up overnight in New England. And even though there's some snow falling in here tomorrow, most of New England's going to be warming up into the 30s and 40s, or 40s and 50s in southern New England, and that rain snow line lifts into Maine. The low pressure system is going to track well to the north. On Wednesday, we have those downpours and real heavy rain, severe weather outbreak to our south. We may end up with a thunderstorm, but I think that the fact that it's happening so fast, our flood threat is fairly low, and the snowpack up here is very dry, so it'll be able to absorb a lot of the rainfall. And just as quickly as it comes in, it goes out on Thursday. So strong winds from the south Wednesday, light winds on Thursday, going to shift into the northwest, and there's bagginess in the isobars. And then here comes sort of the both polar front and Arctic front Friday. Thursday night, Friday, it looks like the snow just misses Cape Cod. There's been the threat for snow on Cape Cod on Friday, but instead it looks just like another Friday, sixth one in a row with harsh, cold winds and a refreeze here. And the refreeze goes all the way south. And then here comes that Saturday system. Kind of looks like it's trying to just kind of hop, skip, and jump right over southern New England, doesn't it? With a low pressure system going along the south coast. So that's going to be interesting on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I want to slow it way down here because 3 days ago, it looked like there was going to be a storm north and a weaker one south, and now it looks like just a front north on Sunday, and there's a snowstorm going off of North Carolina, and it looks like it tries to snow on the Outer Banks of North Carolina again. That would be the third time this winter where the Outer Banks are getting more snow than southeastern Massachusetts, and then a serious cold front's going to chase that out to sea, so there's no storm in Canada anymore. There's just a wave on an Arctic front, and that's going to push another Sunday night and Monday harsh chill with record-challenging cold air coming in against next Monday, and the high pressure system is going to go off to our south again, and that means another warm up next Tuesday and Wednesday now, and we'll stop it at 240 hours. This is Wednesday, March 12th at 7 p.m., and that is a huge area of warmth coming up the east coast with a high pressure over Bermuda, southwest winds, temperatures record warm, challenging record warm, and there's more snow and cold weather in the west. And that storm is probably going to get here again next Thursday. So you see a rhythm here. We have every Thursday there's some kind of really big storm. Every Friday it gets windy and colder. And then over the weekends we've been challenged. A lot of the weekends have been dry, but now it looks like we're getting into this pattern of Saturday situations. And yeah, so I kind of fast forwarded off that 240 hour, didn't I? So yeah, it's going to get a lot warmer in the middle of next week, and then it's going to get colder again towards St. Patrick's Day. I know that there are a lot of St. Patrick's Day parades this weekend. Probably looks like crazy March weather, and you can't really trust the forecast beyond about 60 hours right now. So fairly confident that it's going to be warm and wet coming in on Wednesday into early Thursday. But then after that, the wheels really seem to come off the wagon as there's such cold air in Canada and such warmth trying to come up the East Coast. And you smooth it all out, and it's just average March weather, which is, as I've said many times, March weather makes apologists of meteorologists. I think it was Mark Twain that said that. All right, so I guess maybe the coast-to-coast snowfall forecast, yeah, sure, why not? Because it shows that little bit of snow coming at northern New England over the next couple of days. And then on Sunday, it's supposed to snow. That's not going to happen. I really don't believe that's going to happen. I think that may actually come up and try and clip us. Either that or we're just really cold on Sunday into Monday. That snow over the Outer Banks, North Carolina is what I'm talking about. So a lot of snow for the mountains out west for the most part over the next 2 weeks, more than in the east, unless you get up to Ontario and Quebec. A real lot of snow just to the north of New England. So deep. All right, now that's really the end of the forecast. So do I take the gondola this afternoon and hike up there and try and go up in there by myself? I don't know. It's going to be a couple days before the rain, and today's the best day to do it. So maybe this afternoon. The end more from yesterday, and traveling from the land of no snow to the land of really deep snow. And before I do the part of the travel yesterday when you see T-Rex on the bed and then Steve and Mitt, the cats. That's yesterday. But just before I get to that, I'm going to show you what it looked like this morning getting on the first chair. I was actually on the fourth chair, and it was very cold, but at least the lift stopped for a second and allowed me to make a video without getting frostbite. The lift stopped right up there. So a little bit from this morning and then to yesterday's and more. Talk to you tomorrow. 10 below zero an hour ago. March sun is already causing melting. And look at the steam coming off those beautiful ice crystals right here with the inversion last night. So 7:45, not in a hurry Monday. Usually you don't have to walk up 3 or 4 feet to get to this traverse over. There's so much snow on the ground right now. I think I might have overdressed. 0 wind. I put on layers for 10 below, but now the sun is gonna warm us up quickly. There's the inversion. It's starting to break down. I should have put on sunscreen instead of 4 layers. 10 of 8, too early. 25 people. Of course, it's Billy right there. 030325, minus 9 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 13 Celsius. Brazil won an Oscar. Yay. A year ago, there were bear patches right here. 6 years ago, it was just like this, where if you skied right there, you almost get hit by a ski coming up on the ski lift. Gorgeous. They stopped the lift so I could make this video. A good day for a hike. And more from our Not in a Hurry Sunday. But T-Rex, you're coming with us. Steve and Mitt, just happy to get you in the video today. As we hit the road, you already know where we are. Leaving the big dig in Weymouth for a few days. Heading up into that cold air advection, which is weakening and turning around very quickly. We have a very dynamic week in progress. Mitto, where you going? And the forsythia that were ripped out in part of the Weymouth Big Dig. I saved some branches and they're just blooming. So we'll have full bloom forsythia when we get back. And how about the daffodils? 28 degrees and the daffodils are doing just fine. I don't know the difference between daffodil, jonquil, narcissus. These are the ones that came up around Christmas time, and that's a weed. So we're doing well. Let's see how tall they are when we get back. Still mostly bare ground entering Methuen, and the Merrimack River is still frozen. Yeah. Wow. Pretty impressive, considering it was in the 50s this week. Now we're getting into mostly snowy ground now, moving out of Wyndham, Derry, into Manchester. So snow on the ground, at least on the north-facing slopes, not so much the south. Into the sun, yet it's only 24 degrees. I love heading north when everyone else is heading south, as I've said before. Running away from the Weymouth Big Dig. I hope it's all right without us. I-89, New Hampshire, plenty of snow around here. Yeah, wheelback must be hopping. Snow machine routes open around here. I-89 in New Hampshire. Deep snow. 14 degrees. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Five o'clock. 14 degrees in Randolph, Vermont. A real pretty late winter day. I know, it's meteorological springtime. But there's plenty of snow up here, and it's so different a year ago. Right now there was no snow up here, but then it did snow a lot in March, and it turned out to be really good. So this could be the piano play out, the time lapse. Do a couple time lapses. One from Weymouth, one from Cape Cod. Let me know if you even see one cloud. I don't think so. It's just dry air. I know there's a worm, a moon above the sun, but unless I see it, this is it for and more today. Pretty basic. ski day. Don't have time to do a lot of editing. And about 6 o'clock, and the moon is up there along with Venus. And it looks like a plane going just below Venus. But we can't focus, so oh well. Gorgeous evening. It's freezing out. It's like 7 degrees.